Screw you all. Hi. I think I have just learned to come to the acceptance that this channel is going to specifically be for me. For example, it is my hope that this channel will grow and that it will get comments that are helpful and we can start a conversation that really just starts to dive into this more and make it less weird for those who are trying to learn about themselves or about someone else that they know who is going through a tough time accepting their inner voices that they have going on. I've come to terms with a lot of things in the last recent weeks, and so as I continue to dig, if I make this channel more about my process and my growth and not about what other people need or what other people want, then I'm just going to benefit the most from it. And that's all I really can do, is instead of stressing so much about what other people want or don't want or what other people need or don't need from a channel, pretending like someone might be listening besides the 13 voices in my head, I feel like it gives me an excuse to talk about this out loud, talk about this with the community that might understand where I'm coming from just a little bit. So please comment below if you want to start a conversation. I don't think YouTube's algorithms are going to point you to my videos, and if they happen to, that's great. But if not, that's okay too, because I'm going to just keep talking for me and we'll see what happens. Okay? This video I was watching was just posted a few days ago. It's a almost 2 hour Zoom chat between a bunch of plural representatives on YouTube, and they answer a lot of questions from their live chat. And I don't know who's talking right now. Maybe I'll figure that out here in a second, but I just want you to hear his question, and then I want to talk about his answer because I really liked it, and I listened to it just now and I was like, ooh, don't worry, I'm not playing the full 2 hours for you. So let me just have you listen to this one right here.
I guess I could share a little bit about positive ways. So for me, what we found is that there was a lot of kind of unexplained volatility in our relationships before we knew we were multiple and before we told anyone.
So that's the first thing I wanted to agree with. There was a lot of volatility in my marriage before I came to terms with the multiple concept, the whole multiple acceptance of it. I've been studying it forever, but I kept shutting myself down. So I loved what he said right here. Let me have him finish. Hold on.
So there was kind of a period of like before we knew it all, and we had a certain dynamic. And then there was, once we found out, a lot of things just made sense, like why our energy levels were certain ways in the past, why certain things would upset us. We could now actually like directly talk to all these parts of ourselves, of each other, like things that kind of just felt like lumpy and somewhere deep in the dark. Now I felt like I could be like, hey, person in that corner of the mind, what's going on over there? And that just, I think, over time, even though it had its kind of like shockwave moments of like being like, this is really overwhelming, this is Eliza now, we were like able to at least explain how it works. I think once you just, the simplest thing is the truth at the end of the day. And once you start being able to share the truth, even if it feels outlandish and really complex, it rings true for others, at least the people who matter. And that sense of truth and understanding builds deeper connections. I feel closer to people. I also feel less afraid of myself because I am more predictable. I understand my landscape, the landscape inside this body of different people, and like and dynamics in relationships. And so I can communicate my needs more effectively in relationships, I think, than I could before, because I actually understand my needs, because there's different folks advocating for different parts of needs. And it can still be hard, but I think we're definitely just become, I think one thing that a lot of people miss is that as systems figure out how to live together, their life can often be more stable than their life was before they knew about each other or knew exactly what was going on. So I think just being happier has made us be in better relationships.
So the thing that I really identified with what he said, and it was really the only thing I was going to say on here, I promise I'm going to stop this video soon, is that the toxic levels that my marriage got to was so very traumatic for me that I was unable to cope, and my emotional dysregulation was so severe to the point where I felt like it further fragmented whatever was going on inside. But the thing that was further fragmenting myself was not allowing my inner voices to speak, not allowing my truth to ring true, and pretending that they didn't matter because they weren't what my husband wanted of me, and they weren't what my mother-in-law wanted of me, and they weren't what my family wanted of me, or my kids wanted of me, or even what I wanted of me. And what I wanted of me was to match what other people wanted of me. But once I said, screw you all, I'm just going to be who I am. And as soon as I started doing that, it was like opening a birdcage, and everybody started flying out. Everybody started to just be free to be who they were. And it scared me. Yeah, it scared me, because I'm like, oh, you want to be single? Do I want to be single? I don't want to be single. You know, and she'd be like, I want to be single. I don't want to be married. And I'm like, but that's not what I want, or do I want that? And it became so complex of a duality of just that concept. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, that's not what I want. I'm pretty sure that's not what I want. So tuck that back in, tuck that back in. I don't want that thought. I don't want that truth to come out. And I'm like, oh, so it would drive me nuts. But then as I started to just say, I just think I'm two different people. And once I just said that as a jokingly side comment, even though I had been studying it for years, it all started to make sense. It all started to make sense why certain truths would come out, but it didn't fit with other truths, and it didn't ring true for other parts of me at the times that those truths were coming out. Oh, just if you've ever been an OCDD person, or plural, or a multiplicity person, or a d.i.d person, I really don't know what to call them anymore, right? There's so many words for them, but if you've ever been that way, you'll understand the complexity of it becomes crippling in itself until you just start letting them be. Let it be. Let it be. Just let it be. All of them, right? I'm starting to sing, so I better let y'all go, because I don't know which noodle that is, but we're still trying to figure this whole thing out. So stay tuned if you want to watch me figuring out who I am, figuring out who all of these are, figuring out all my noodles. Yeah, this is going to be a uncovering of the mind, really. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.